All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 93. We're in the new year. It's 2026. I'm Nate, the Fit Future MD, your host. Be sure to check out insercell.com and pick you up a cool, inspirational t shirt today. Got a new one coming out. Um, it says earned. So go check that one out if you haven't already. All right. So, of course, I got to talk about my beloved Carolina Panthers. The Panthers limp into the playoffs, losing to the Buccaneers, and the Falcons defeating the Saints. All right, so the Carolina Panthers are going to have a home game this week um, against the 49ers. So it's the first time we've been in the playoffs in like 10 years. But even as bad and poorly as the Panthers played against the Buccaneers, we were still in position to go drive down the field and win the game. Unfortunately, it did not happen. But let's check out the box score anyway. Like I say, Bryce Young, 24 for 35, 266 yards. Once again, we did not run the ball like we should have. We got 14 carries running the ball. Like, that's not going to work. Obviously, the Buccaneers did the opposite thing, which is why they won, right? They did 42 carries. Bucky Irving got 26 carries for 85 yards. I mean, it's not like they were getting, it's not like they were torturous on the ground, only getting 3.3 yards a carry. But, like I say, you just can't win a football game if you can't run the football, right? So that's basically what happened. But Bryce Young came through. Honestly, the offense looked pretty decent. Like even Leggett got some catches. But like I say, he's only doing 22 yards. Like, he's not getting any yards. Basically, Leggett's not getting any yards after the catch. And so I don't know if that's the quarterback or if that's just him, or what plays they're calling for him. All right. But basically, the Carolina Panthers limp in. All three teams, Tampa, Carolina, and the Falcons, are 8-9. The Panthers just happen to have the tiebreaker over the other two teams. Like I say, as far as the Falcons in New Orleans, this kid, Tyler Show, is going to be a problem in the future, in my opinion. I'm saying today, the Atlanta Falcons fire their head coach and their GM with their second 8-9 season. Not sure why, but once again, not sure why they would let them go after two seasons. Like, you should kind of at least give them a third season. But it's very clear that the Falcons would have been the head of the division if they had Kirk Cousins at the helm, in my opinion. He's obviously a clear, better decision maker than Penix Jr. was, which is why they were losing. I also disagree with the way the Falcons did this. They gave Bijan Robinson only 15 carries. Can't really win that way when your best player is only getting 15 touches. Let's see how many catches he got. 3 catches, so 18 touches. He needs to touch the ball at least 30 times a game, in my opinion. But obviously that makes you a little bit more one-dimensional, but, it is what it is. But the New Orleans defense is a really, really good defense, right? So keep that in mind. But looking ahead, let's see if we can look ahead a little bit here. We'll go to Panthers. Let's go to schedule. See if they show it yet. Oh, wait a minute. It's not versus the 49ers. I apologize. It is versus the Rams. Thought it was going to be versus the 49ers, but it's versus the Rams. So we've already beat the Rams this year one time. So basically, is can we do it again? And And I say, like I say, it's at home, so it's tough for the Rams to come to us. But looking ahead, obviously Matthew Stafford had a great year, 46 touchdowns, 8 picks, 4,700 yards. He's obviously had an MVP year. He's got a good running game behind him in Williams. Um, Nakuba has just destroyed this year, 129 receptions, 10 touchdowns, 1,700 yards. Just killing it, right? So definitely could be a little bit of an offensive battle here. But getting the Rams instead of the 49ers definitely might give the Panthers a little bit. We match up well with the Rams. So hopefully we will get the dub versus the Rams. Let me know what you guys think about the Carolina Panthers versus the Rams. I apologize for saying the 49ers. I thought we ended up with the 49ers, but apparently we did not. So, all right. And this episode is brought to you by Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins, which is my wife's book. If you haven't checked out Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins, be sure to do so. It is a great children's book. So if you got nieces, nephews, or children of your own, be sure to check out Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins, available on Amazon. It's also in my link in my description. All right. So the United States decided to go in and take out the leader of Venezuela. Whether that's right or wrong is not the here to be debated. It is what it happened, right? So that's what happened. So the biggest question for us being investors is what companies benefit from the Venezuelan oil. So apparently Venezuela's sitting on 17 trillion in oil reserves, basically oil that's been pumped out of the ground, sitting in barrels, waiting to be refined, right? And so the clear company here are the ones that are going to be refining the oil, right? And so that is Chevron. Chevron's already up 8% pre-market. And clearly with it, if they're going to bring this oil to the US, then obviously that's going to completely dismantle, in my opinion, inflation completely, right? Like I said, if you flood the market with $17 trillion in oil, you're talking about dollar oil price, under $1 oil prices, like under $1 gas prices again, right? And so you're talking about shipping being cheaper. You're talking about groceries being cheaper. You're talking about everything being cheaper because of this. Whether it was right or wrong for them to take out the head of Venezuela or not, clearly it's going to cause some downstream effects in the United States. So we want to be on the other side of that. So you got it popped already 8%. It's whether can it pop more, right? It already popped on Friday, 2%. So somebody already knew that they might do this on Friday, but it's very clear that the Chevron is going to be one of the ones that is affected by this and going to be the recipient. But they're talking about how Chevron's going to have to spend $10 billion a year extra money. I'm like, well, they $10 billion a year and they get 17 trillion. I think that's a good investment there. So let me know what you think about Chevron being the beneficiary of this, the oil reserves in Venezuela. And we'll move on. Obviously, us being investors, that's what we want to do. We want to find where we can make a higher than average return. And this is one that could be that. Obviously, do your own research, not financial advice, right? So All right, so I want to throw that in there in between sports because then I don't want my stuff to always be only about sports. But we'll talk about the college football playoffs, surprises and not surprises, right? So, biggest surprise, Miami barely gets into the CFB playoffs, right? They put them in over Notre Dame. Well, Miami beats Ohio State, the number 2 team, Ohio State, right? It was basically been number 1 all year, but they happened to lose to Indiana in their championship game. Um, but Miami beats Ohio State. Alabama gets blown out uh, by Indiana, right? I mean, just destroyed. So it makes you question whether Alabama should even have been in at all. And Oregon shuts out Texas Tech, right? They don't score any points, right? So basically, every time when I was watching the Texas Tech game a little bit, just happened to be on when I was able to watch TV. But um, basically, every time Texas Tech would get into scoring position, they turned the ball over. So whether that's Oregon, or them just making mistakes. But the big surprise here is Miami, right? Miami beating Ohio State. And if you go look at the scores, 14-0 at halftime, and then Ohio State tries to come back, but it's basically the same thing. They were just trying to basically every time they would get in a good position, Ohio State would turn the ball over. So same thing. But basically, Miami's been riding the back of Mark Felix Jr., right? And even Shamar Brown had a good run there, and he got the touchdown, obviously. But they just basically been riding him this whole time, and then playing good defense, right? So the question is, can Miami, now that they play Ole Miss, so if Miami beats Ole Miss on the 8th, they played on Thursday, the 8th. If they beat them on Thursday, will that show that the ACC is better than the SEC? Even though Ole Miss is without a coach and all that kind of stuff, they beat Georgia, right? They beat the best team in the SEC, Georgia. Will it show, or if Ole Miss blows out Miami, will it show that the SEC is just completely dominant over the ACC? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, so new year, new you, right? So almost everyone this time of year goes into the year saying, I'm going to have a healthier year, right? I'm going to be healthy this year. This is the year I'm going to do it, right? And so what happens, right? So immediately, 2 days in, you're starving to death, and you go to McDonald's and you get 3 large French fries, 2 double quarter pounders with cheese, and a 10-piece nugget. All right, you're starving to death. So this is what we don't want, right? We want to decrease our calories and then actually live a lifestyle that we can maintain, right? So, how do you do that, right? That's the question, right? So, can you go to McDonald's and say, okay, I'm going to get a regular quarter pounder. I'm going to ask them to lettuce wrap it or something like that, instead of having the bun. Maybe can I do that? And then instead of having a large fry, I'm gonna have a small fry. And I'm obviously not going to drink soda. Or if I do, I drink diet soda, right? Can you live a lifestyle that way, right? It's not, can you just take everything out of your diet? Now, there is something to be said about going 8 to 12 weeks, right, of perfection eating, and then going into what's called a long-term way of eating habits, lifestyle, right? It has to be a lifestyle for you to actually get healthy, right? And so, and then even if you decrease your calories, you're still eating. If you're still eating the same stuff, you're actually not getting healthy on the inside. Your body might be losing weight, which does take away a lot of the chronic illnesses by losing weight. But it's very easy. The average calories in America is 3,500 calories, right? So if you can just cut that to 2,000 calories, right, automatic, cut it to 2,000, can you make a big, huge difference in your life? Absolutely can. So try to do that first, right? Just say, okay, I'm only going to eat 2,000 calories a day, and I'm going to eat the same way I always eat, but I'm only going to eat 2,000 calories. And so if you do that for 6 months, you're going to be a lot healthier in a lot better spot, right? But it doesn't, you're not saying, okay, I can't have ice cream, I can't have this, right? So keep that in mind. But I would go 12 weeks on the perfection diet, right? So January, and then you're going all the way to, you can go January right now, the 5th, and you can go all the way to Valentine's Day, right? So that's 6 weeks. You go all the way 6 weeks to Valentine's Day, cheat meal Valentine's Day, and then go 6 more weeks after Valentine's Day, and you will be snatched, right? So let's do that. Let's make that happen. If you need help figuring this out, I'm Nate and I'm a life coach and I help people do that, right? So obviously you can find on my channel how to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I've done that before. And obviously me being here full bulk, we're going to we're not going to be doing the 30 pounds in 30 days this time, but we will be getting healthier this year, right? So we will not be comfortable. We already got our first gym session here, 4 a.m. And so follow along on Instagram. If you're following along, you'll see me there every day, 4 a.m. Right. So, all right. And so the last thing of the day, quote of the day, says comfort explains why most people stay the same. Comfort explains why most people stay the same. And I'm very victim to this. Like I say, when you start making a little bit of money, and your investments are paying for stuff, and you're sitting there like, oh, you start to get very, very comfortable, right? But you have to realize that if you stay the same, no one's going to remember your name, right? No one's going to remember who you are. You're going to be dust in the wind, that type of stuff. Either way, you're going to be dust in the wind, but you can do things in this planet to help other people. This planet gives you opportunities to help people, right? So let's get uncomfortable, and let's help as many people as we can, right? And so that's what I do as a life coach. I help people. So keep that in mind. So let's do that. Let's get uncomfortable. I'm Nate. I'm a life coach. Sign up for life coaching. You're interested. Shop at israel.com. Pick up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Check out my wife's book, Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with somebody that needs it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. What you think about the Panthers. What do you think about Venezuela? What do you think about the playoffs? Let me know everything you think. Obviously, I respond to all comments. So, like I said, I got one yesterday. I did a video that said, I'm not special. I just didn't quit. And some guys like, well, you quit shaving half your face, right? So you quit shaving on when you got to half your face. So, I thought that was hilarious. Appreciate that. And then his said something about I can't hear or something. So I said, I would have kept going, but you couldn't hear me or something like that. So, appreciate the trolling, right? Say trolling, is better than nothing. So, and I'm saying I get entertainment out of it. It's funny. So, Appreciate that. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.